Mr. Wells Music World.
Hello friends, so today we have a special episode, a new friend of the show, Miss Eryn Fuson, and she's going to tell us all about the harp. I'm very excited about this show. She's going to tell us about the strings, which looks like there's a whole lot of them, and some of the music that she plays. Tell me a little bit about the harp. First of all, I was expecting that maybe the harp might be a little bit taller. It's still a very large instrument, but can you tell me about your harp?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is called a lever harp.
Oh.
We've got two main categories of harps. We've got pedal harps, which is probably what you initially thought, what you initially think when you think pedal, when you think harp, because that's a lot of times what we see in orchestras, the big, tall thing that 5 people have to lug in. And they are beautiful instruments as well. They've got pedals at the bottom, at the base of it, to change the key. Now, lever harps are often much smaller, much more portable, much lighter, and we have levers at the tops of each strings instead of the pedals to change the key.
Oh, so
this is
instead
called,
of your feet, you can use your
exactly,
hands.
yep, you use your hands to change the key. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I bet that gets really tricky when you're playing, having to change the levers at the same time of playing.
Right. If you have a song that you need a note outside of the key signature, or if you're changing the key in the middle of the song, you have to really plan that ahead of time while you're playing, and you just kind of play with your right hand while your left hand does this, and you come down and then you
Wow.
You can't really change them with your right hand because you have to like reach around, and that's just awkward in the middle of playing.
That is. Have you ever had to do that?
No, I just always plan around not needing my left hand for that particular moment to be able to
Now,
note it.
is your harp very heavy or is it light?
It's not. It's about 40 pounds.
40 pounds.
So that depends on what you consider heavy. I've been carrying it for about 16 years. Is how long I've been playing. So I'm just used to it.
Wow.
But it's much lighter than pedal harps.
16 years you've been with this harp, so you know this harp very well. Does your harp have a name?
Fiel.
Fiel. Wow.
You gotta name your instrument.
Yeah. That's neat. Now, the first couple things that sticks out to me about your harp, other than the shape, is all of the colors of the strings. Is there a reason for the colors?
There is. So if there were just one single color for all of our strings, we wouldn't really know where to start. What note would be what? It's color coded for you to be able to know where you are. Kind of like the pattern of the black and white keys on the piano. That's what this pattern is. So for example, if you know your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, our do or our C note are all of the red strings. So that's our C, and then all of the blue strings are the F or the do, re, mi, fa. And so all of our blue strings are Fs, and then you just kind of tell your way from there. So then you would count down A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So all of the different music notes. Now, you mentioned a word earlier when you were talking about the levers. You said key. So tell me exactly what you mean by that. You mean when you change the key that the harp can play in? So can you play in any musical scale when you play on the harp?
It has the ability to. At this point in time, I can do all key signatures that need up to 3 flats or up to 4 sharps.
Wow.
Since each string can only have one of 2 settings, either a natural and a flat, or a natural and a sharp, there is a little bit more limited key signature ability with lever harp, but you can always specifically tune your strings to a different key if you need more than 3 flats or more than 4 sharps.
Wow. Can you tell us a reason why? Would there ever be a reason you would have to change the levers in the middle of a song?
Change a lever in the middle of a song? Right, yeah. So if the song needs both this note and this note
on the
for
same
example,
string?
on the same string,
Okay.
then you'd need to flip it. Mhm.
Wow. So I imagine then you would have to plan ahead sometimes.
You do, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, let's see, a song like Greensleeves. We needed this note G earlier, and we needed the G sharp right there in that spot of the song. So you just kind of have to, make sure that you don't need your left hand at that particular spot to be able to flip it and just kind of play around that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing, and that sounded amazing. So also, the next thing I really noticed is the shape. Is there any significance, any special reason for the shape of the harp here?
My specific harp has a rounded back to it. Has this part right here is called the soundboard. That's where all the strings are connected to. That's where all the resonance is happening. This is all hollow.
Hollow.
Inside here. And this soundboard on almost every other model of harp is actually straight up and down, and you lean a harp back on you when you're playing, so that the strings.
I've seen harpists lean
the strings
back.
will kind of come perpendicular to the ground, straight up and down to the ground. But this particular model of harp is actually made with vocalists in mind, so that you don't have to have anything kind of back on your diaphragm, and you can just sit down and play. And
wow.
So yeah.
And this is hollow, and I also noticed that you have a port for a microphone or to plug it into a soundboard.
Exactly, just like a guitar. This can plug in just like a guitar, yeah.
Is that typical for the harp? Do a lot of harps have an electronic pickup?
It's becoming more and more common. It wasn't common for very long, but with people experimenting a little bit more with the styles that the harp has available to it, now a lot more harps are becoming, either people are just making electric harps right out, or they're amplifying acoustic harps like this. Yeah.
Well, hello there. I hear you are learning about the harp. Now, while we may never know where the harp first originated, many scholars believe it was in ancient Egypt, and that Phoenicians in pre-Christian times brought it to Europe. Now, there are many harps in different styles and shapes throughout history and all over the world. There are triangular harps, medieval and Renaissance harps, Gothic harps, Spanish harps, lever harps, pedal harps, orchestral harps. Harps were found in ancient writings and walls, in the Bible, old scrolls. The harp was played in folk music and in royal courts. And in fact, in places such as England, many, many, many years ago, the harp was even banned. There's a lot of interesting history about the harp that goes back thousands of years. There are harps in West Africa, such as the lute and bridge harp, like the kora or the ngoni. There are harps in South America, such as the Paraguayan harp, that is played in joropo music. We could spend hours talking about various history of the harp. There are harps that are played just by the wind. We call them wind harps. And there are also psaltery harps that have a different shape. Harps have taken different shapes throughout the centuries. Some harps have multiple rows, while others, like the harp that Mrs. Eryn Jones Fuson is playing, has one single row. Well, I'm going to continue to read up on some history of the harp, and hopefully you're having a good time learning about the harp that Mrs. Eryn Jones Fuson plays. Enjoy learning about the harp. I'll see you soon. Now, we heard you say you play a little bit of more of a classical style. What other styles do you play, speaking of electronic and experimenting?
Yeah. So harp can really do anything that piano can do.
Wow.
It is very versatile. I play for a lot of weddings, so I play a lot of pop music sometimes. I play a lot of country music on this, even folk music, rock music.
Hip-hop?
Hip hop, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it can do anything that piano can do, really. So it's a lot of fun. Also, it's also very highly known for Celtic music and, like you say, classical music. But a lot of people only think of classical music just kind of the beautiful, the beautiful dream music when they think of harp, which it does beautifully. It's wonderful, but that's not all that it can do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me about the symbol on the harp.
This is all I know is it's called a Renaissance crest. My teacher, her husband makes this line out of Asheville, North Carolina, and she was the one that painted that.
A Renaissance crest.
Yes.
Amazing. And it looks like it's made out of a couple different types of wood as well.
Yep, we have bird's eye maple, which is a very great resonating wood here, and then we've got cherry wood for all the rest of the pieces, the pillar here and the rest of the box. So the cherry wood was actually the same color as this when I first bought it. That's how much the wood has darkened over time.
Wow.
Sometimes wood colors darken.
That's amazing.
So that's really fun.
Wow. And the strings, some look like they're metal and others look like they're nylon?
Yeah, exactly. So your nylon strings go all the way about to the bottom octave. On pedal harps, sometimes they have a couple different octaves because your nylon strings can only get so thick and so loose before they start losing some of their tonal quality. So then you start using steel strings past that because they can have a deeper sound better than nylon past that point. So yeah.
Do the steel strings last longer than the nylon strings?
They do. Yeah. Wow. They keep their tone. They keep their tone better.
Have you ever changed the color from red to like green?
No. In general, the only variants for the colors on harps, like sometimes the blue Fs are black strings instead of blue, but otherwise.
So it's quite standardized. Standard there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Wow, all of the beautiful colors and tones. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, speaking of different styles, and you mentioned Gaelic or Celtic, can you play a little bit of something like that for us?
Certainly. Yep. So I'm going to change the key to the key of D with my C sharps and my F sharps up for this song.
Changing the musical scale.
So we're changing the scale. And this is called a strathspey, which is a song out of Scotland. It's a type of upbeat dance music, and this song title is called Callum's Road.
Now, I have one more question for you, something I noticed that I think that our viewers would find very interesting. And I noticed that on your right hand, it seems like your fingernails are a little bit longer than on your left hand. Do you use your fingernails to pluck the harp?
You're not supposed to use your fingernails to pluck the harp. I also play guitar. So that's a little bit of, because I need these fingernails to pick when I do guitar picking, but I'm not supposed to have nails for harp, so I have to adjust my fingers a little bit more even than I would otherwise to not play with my fingernail. So, there's a Scottish The Scottish traditional harp is actually called a clarsach, and they use wire strings or the steel strings all the way through. And with that style, you want it to be a little plinkier, so you actually want to play with your nails for that style, but not when you have.
So some harpists actually do play with their fingernails. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I know that some classical guitarists use one hand with the fingernails and the other without. So I was curious if that's what you were doing. Thank you so much for sharing your harp with us, Mrs. Eryn. We have loved spending time learning about your amazing instrument. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Wah, boom, ba, boom, ba, doom, boom. Mr. Wells' Music World.